Breaking news, North Carolina, Thom Tillis, the Republican, has won his re-election battle. He will retain his seat in the U.S. Senate, defeating his Democratic challenger, Cal Cunningham. On the phone with me now is Senator Tillis. Good afternoon to you, and congratulations, sir.
Thank you, Bill. Good afternoon.
Tell me about the conversation you had with Cal Cunningham today.
Cal called me up about an hour ago. He was very gracious, wished me the very best, and said he'd like to do anything he could to help make sure that we just continue to focus on the people of North Carolina. But a very gracious phone call, and I wish them well as well.
Yeah, your race was close 6 years ago, but this was closer than I'm certain that you would even like. Why do you think that was the case, Senator?
Well, I think, first, Bill, it set another record for the most expensive race in U.S. history. It looks like it's going to come close to $300 million. So there was a lot of information out there that we had to really rely on the voters to make an informed decision on Election Day, and I think that's what they did. And we're going to go back and work as hard for them as we ever have, for those who voted for me and for those who didn't. We've got a lot of work to do, and I'm looking forward to serving for another term.
Just remind me, how much money was spent in North Carolina between the two of you?
As of last week, it was about $285 million. So I think
in one race?
In one race, right.
Does that mean Georgia, by the first week of January, is upwards of $1 billion plus?
I absolutely believe that this runoff, which is pivotal, I've already started working on Monday to do my part to help with the Georgia races. I used to live in Georgia, and I've got family down there. I know the state well, and I'm going to know it even better because I'm going to be down there campaigning.
What do you think the president should do now? If you were advising him on his next move, what would that be?
I think it's very important that the American people have confidence in the outcome. I have no problem. In fact, I think it's important that we make sure that every legal vote was cast and counted appropriately, and we'll go through that process. That's why I had no problem with my opponent not conceding last week when we declared victory. He should have the opportunity to satisfy for himself that the election was properly executed. I think there are some valid questions in a few states, and it can play out. It's not going to be one based on words. It's going to be the result would only change if there's compelling evidence that holds up in courts and the challenges through the boards of elections. And I think it's an appropriate part of the process. It'll restore confidence in American people in our elections, and that's critical to our smooth transition of power.
Now, you're not prepared to call Joe Biden the president-elect based on that answer, are you?
Well, I think that, you're talking to somebody who last week declared victory because we looked at the numbers and we felt like we had a sound basis for doing it. I'm not saying that the vice president shouldn't have done that, but I am saying that there are questions that need to be answered. I think they can be answered pretty quickly.
How long should we be prepared for this to go on then? Do you believe, as you sit there in North Carolina, is it days or is it weeks now, Senator?
I think that it could be a couple of weeks before you go through all the procedural hurdles. We've got a recount in Georgia that we'll have to contend with. Then some of the matters that the president's team has taken to some of the other states. But I think it'll work out expeditiously. And I think along the way that we should all just respect the process and respect every candidate. These are not the president's race are not the only challenges going on across the country now at the state and local level. We should let that play out, and I would just expect the courts and the boards of elections to do it as quickly as possible.
Senator, when you consider that, I don't know if you were with us a few moments ago, but Matt Schlapp just came back from Clark County, that's Las Vegas, Nevada, and he's arguing that there are thousands and thousands of illegal votes cast. Well, that may or may not be the case, but so far we haven't seen any evidence of that. At what moment do you say put up or shut up?
Well, Bill, I heard a lot of people when we were concerned with some voter fraud. You may be familiar with the ballot harvesting that happened in a special congressional race down in North Carolina. I think that people say that no fraud occurs are just empirically wrong. Whether or not it rose to a level to where it determined an outcome are the kinds of questions that you ask in these very, very close races. But, I think that it's just a process that we need to go through. We need to be patient and be calm and respect the judicial system that I think will render a fair decision, and then it's up to the president, the vice president, to act accordingly.
Senator, thank you for your time. Congratulations to you. Thom Tillis is going back to the U.S. Senate. Thank you, sir. Congratulations on your victory there over Cal Cunningham, something we've been watching now for months.